and thank you for tuning in for my review of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the graphic novel. I've already read the original book format of this book, and I have rated it and reviewed it on Goodreads. Feel free to browse through my book reviews for that review. Now I'm going to quickly show you inside what some of the artwork looks like. And there's the back. I want to start out by saying that so far out of this series, I really enjoyed Hollow City. I want to throw that out there before I do this book review. The first volume of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, I gave it a rating of 3 out of 5 stars. Yes, writing a story, the concept of writing a story based on found photographs was very interesting and one that I thought was really cool. But if you watch my review of that book, you'll see why I rated it 3 stars. So I want to throw that out there before I start talking about this book. Now, this book is based on that book. It is drawn rather sketchily. It looks like the artist who had drawn this version is influenced by manga, as the characters kind of look like anime or manga, you know. And they're somewhat sketchy in some of the scenes, like they had drawn this really quickly. There's use of color in certain scenes to represent when they are in the loop. Otherwise, it is mostly black and white. This is part of the reason why I rated this book what I did. And before we get further into this video, I'm going to mention now that if you have not read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, regardless of which version, whether it was this one or the book format, there's going to be spoilers. So if you do not want to be spoiled, you can stop watching now. Okay, now that I've thrown that out there, I rated this book 2 out of 5 stars. One of the main reasons was the artwork. I thought the very sketchy artwork was just, it could have been done better. Yes, I like the fact that they used the color to highlight the scenes that are in the loop, but other people had said this in their reviews. They thought that they were minor scenes or little minor things from the original story that they just left out, and I'm going to talk about them and why I don't really think they're minor and why I think they're vital to the story in the book format, and they should have been represented in the graphic novel. There's very minimal use of the original found photos in the graphic novel version. You'll see only a few, and sometimes they are scattered. It is mostly just a drawn story, and they try to force a lot of the story into text, into a very fast, almost lazy type of way to just, you know, pass the scenes quickly. One of the scenes that was lacking was there was no mention of Jacob's friend. I don't remember what his name was. I think his name might have been Alex. But they almost made it seem like Jacob had no friends. They didn't show him in the beginning when he was driving to his grandfather's house. And in the graphic novel volume, he walked there, which I thought was weird. I mean, I get they maybe thought it was an unnecessary scene, and they cut it out because they wanted it to flow maybe a little faster. But I'm going to explain why I thought the cutting of those friend scenes was wrong, and I think they were a vital part of the story. Those scenes, especially after the death of his grandfather, I think were key to telling the story because of Jacob's experience and how he saw the monster and his friend didn't see the monster, and people were questioning his sanity. And I really thought that separation, that, you know, disassociation from the friendship, I thought really emphasized the fact that Jacob was peculiar, and that was a key part to the first book, that the author was telling us that Jacob was peculiar, and his friend kind of stepping away from him emphasized that. Also, they took away part of the story with the background with the family, which I guess really wasn't too much needed for the story, but I thought that the part with the friend was very vital to the story. Also, there was another scene like after the destruction of the house because the loop had failed, and we knew because they showed that Victor was dead in suspended animation, but they did not do the burial scene to show that him being laid to rest since the loop was broken. I thought that was another scene that should have been added to the graphic novel. That was a very touching scene in the book, one that should have been included in the graphic novel. Sometimes I have to wonder if a lot of people were just excited to see this in graphic novel form, and I get that a lot of people really liked it. They really enjoyed the book volume. They really enjoyed the story. And I don't know if it was because it was so overly hyped that everybody gave it 4 or 5 stars or what, but I just really felt that this graphic novelization was very lacking, and that's why I rated it 2 out of 5 stars. At first, before I started reading this, I wasn't sure that I wanted to do a review of it just because I thought the book format was just so average. And yes, I'm not hating on the book because I did really like Hollow City, which I rated 4 stars on Goodreads. So, do I think you should check out this book? I'd say you can live without reading the graphic novel version of this book. It's almost like they wrote it for people that didn't really want to read the book, because it leaves a lot out, and it's really just, it's not the whole story. But that is my review of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the graphic novel. Thank you for watching, and until next time, later.